Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Hard Knock Media Podcast Network proudly presents to you the Fucking Do It Cast, starring Brandon Chalmers and me, Jamie Noguchi. I tried my best to do my Billy Gunn impression.
Well, I think that's the problem, is that was actually Road Dogg.
Oh, Road Dogg.
Yeah. So if you wouldn't mind, hang on, I got you.
Yeah.
And if you're not down for that, I got 2 words for ya. Fuck it.
Fuck it. So Brandon, we are not a wrestling podcast, but
no.
I feel like half of our episodes are talking about wrestling related things.
I think what happens is you want to be more into wrestling, but don't have the bandwidth to keep up with it. And I think weirdly, you like having me being your wrestling Sherpa through the landscape that is pro wrestling.
Yeah. Well, you're good at parsing through all the bullshit. Like I don't have to sit through 8 hours of content.
To be fair, half of what I end up going over with you, probably more than half, honestly, is just regurgitating What Culture Wrestling. Again,
nice.
I cannot recommend them enough. Usually they do a daily video. Monday to Friday, the crew is great. The Saturday crew, half of them are okay. Phil Chambers is a fucking delight. I don't care for the other guy. But usually, like, if you don't watch the Twitter questions that they have or the YouTube community questions, they usually do a nice proper recap of kind of everything going on, like 12 minutes a day. It's really not bad to do. Can highly recommend if you are even curious about pro wrestling and being able to keep up with it without having to watch all of the fucking content. That is the one to go to.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, Royal Rumble was this past weekend. We are going to talk about Royal Rumble tonight. We're going to do it in opposite order because I feel like the fun stuff will be the first part of the show.
Yeah, 100%. It was a way better match than the other one.
So we'll start off with the men's Rumble, which closed out the evening.
Yes.
Brandon, can you please to explain the Rumble game that we played at your house?
So normally this is reserved as a drinking game, but it can also be a game just to create a bit of nice, fun competition among your friends. So what the game is essentially is you end up making numbers. You take pieces of paper, fold them up, cut them out, write numbers 1 to 30 on them. If you are doing I'm trying to remember, it's like the 2008 Royal Rumble, I think it is, with the 40-man. There's an alternate. You can add an extra 10. Or the way I played it is just do the 30, and then you each get to pick one number between 31 and 40.
Oh, fun.
Which can be a nice little fun sort of thing of like, okay, all right. This could be a real thing because it adds a wild card to it. So what we do is we write the numbers down, you fold them up, so this way you can't actually see any of the numbers. You put them in a container, shake them up, and then you hand them out to everyone who's playing. Now, normally, if it would just be, let's say, 4 people playing, I would have us pick 5 numbers. Now, they could be anywhere of those 30 people. Now, that gives a ton of real estate to be able to lose, quote unquote, this game. Yeah. But the idea is that if you were watching an old Rumble, the rule would be anyone current and anyone dead. The second you see them, you take a drink of your beer. Anyone that goes over the top rope with both feet touching the floor, you would also drink a beer. So you are guaranteed at a minimum 30 drinks. Now, usually when we would play and you do 5 people, you would end up doing a shot per each one of your individual choices when they would specifically go over. So now we were back to 25 drinks and 5 shots.
Jesus.
So it's a tough game, especially since I like to do at least 2 Rumbles in an evening. So you got to be fucking ready to play if you want to play with me. Now I have done, for people who want to not die of alcohol poisoning, done 3. If you have a large group of people, you pick one number and it can become very competitive. I like 2 at a minimum.
2 is fun.
2 is fun. But the idea being, we didn't really drink this one. But it's a nice, fun competition way of getting into people who you wouldn't normally get into. So each one of us in the crew, there were 6 of us. We each picked 3 numbers. Sorry, no, there was it 6 or it was 7 of us?
Oh, 7 of us. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we each picked 3 numbers. So we each had 3 people to root for without any knowledge of who was actually coming out. So you basically were forced to become an immediate fan of whatever the wrestler was, on top of the fan favorites that you would find, or one of my favorite things, especially watching with a group of people who aren't avid wrestling fans, watching their reaction to a person that they see completely brand new and make an immediate assessment over, and then are like, yup, total swoon into this person. Let's fucking watch them. And
and we had 3 people who had never seen a Rumble before. So this game is the perfect way to get like a newbie way into the wrestling.
I had a great time watching your daughter watch like a Royal Rumble for the first time. And watching her go from like, yeah, I'm not really into wrestling. By the time the end happened, she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Spoiler alert. Jamie's daughter ended up winning the Rumble game for the women's Royal Rumble.
Yes.
And that was maybe highlight of me watching wrestling, maybe in the last, 10 years or something like that. Like just watching a kid have a fun experience with pro wrestling, become relatable with the people in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a great thing now, especially for a young woman and especially a young Asian woman, to be able to be like, hey, those people, I can see the people. Like, like just to me and you who grew up with a much younger generation of just fucking huge white guys, like the idea of having that is fucking just on the moon. It's that far away.
Yeah, she had a blast with the women's Rumble. It was great.
Yeah, like, and that's fucking great. But yeah, so the idea would be we would end up rooting for people, and then essentially the winner. Sometimes I will put money into a pot. I'll have everybody throw $1 in or something like that. Yeah. So it ends up having a little bit of extra to it. But yeah, for this one, it was just kind of bragging rights for new fans watching. Yeah. So it's that simple. It just gives you a reason to cheer for people who you wouldn't normally cheer for. It adds a bit of fun factor to the Rumble, because also other people start to see your number and then they start rooting for it, and then they watch you go, and then throw one number back in the bin. You're like, how many numbers you got left? You're like, one. I guess number 23 is going to have to win the whole thing.
Yeah. The other person who'd never seen the Rumble before, Anya, she got Cody for the men's.
She did get
Rumble.
Cody for the men's. Yes.
So like 2 newbies won the Rumble on our watching squad. It was great.
Completely legitimate. Reached into the bucket, grabbed the numbers out on their own, and so that's a great experience to be able to have 2 newbies be able to have their picks win. Yeah.
So I don't know how we usually review the Rumble. I don't remember.
We
don't go like match by or entry by entry, but
God, no.
That would be insane.
I think reasonably the smart thing to do would be, let me bring up, because here's the thing is like, the question that I would have would be, was there anyone that was a standout to you who you didn't recognize in the men's Rumble?
So I'd never seen Ivar, but homie can move.
Yes.
And that spot he did with that other big guy where they kind of both like wailed on each other, and then
Bronson Reed is the other big guy, and doing the collider. Now, bear in mind that was a spot that essentially happened between Ricochet and what's the fucking blonde guy, Jake Paul. They ended up doing that spot mid-air, and it was just equally as impressive because there was no padding there, and they just fucking like. Just a car crash midair and then just fell to the ground. But yes, seeing Bronson Reed and Ivar go at it was absolutely outstanding.
I did like the one spot that had everybody laughing was like some crew had done a run in beating on someone, and then they were fighting up the ramp, and one of the German guys came out.
Ludwig Kaiser.
The little dude, and as they were fighting, he just kind of went ooh.
Right, yeah, like, I don't need any part of this. No, thank you.
And Audrey was like, everyone was like, that is the most German
thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that would have been more German is if he would have started encroaching on the French guys. Like, it's just.
So Brandon and I were the only men in the room.
Yes.
Which I don't know if I've ever experienced watching Rumble with like mostly women watching it.
I said it out loud because like it felt awkward to say, but like genuinely, it completely changed the tone of watching the Rumbles. Now, it didn't hurt that, frankly, the men's Rumble was weak sauce compared to the women's Rumble.
It really was.
The men's Rumble was too long.
Yeah.
It wasn't very, there were a couple fun spots, but not really that many. There were very little surprises. There was no nostalgia at all. And if you're going to not have any nostalgia, then you really do need to keep the pace fucking going, which is what the women's match really seemed to figure out that the men's just didn't.
Has Kofi not done a spot?
I think he shit the bed on one like 2 years ago.
Okay.
He almost got one last year. This year, not even bothering. Seemed a little weird.
Yeah.
Because Ricochet didn't really, I remember, have anything that was like, there were no ridiculous spots that really happened to like the outside or anything, which seemed a little odd. Like they didn't even bother with any of that. Honestly, for either match though, there really wasn't that many sort of things happening there.
Our truth spot where he came in as a tag, that was brilliant.
I said it when everyone was there. I'll say it now. I'll say it to absolutely anybody who ever asks me. My favorite person right now in pro wrestling is R-Truth.
Yeah.
Like he's having so much fun.
Yeah.
He had a run in with the women's match and then was really confused and looked back at the camera as they cut to the next thing and looked right at the Raw GM and goes, "Those are all women in there?" All of them. And like had this moment of like, I can't comprehend what's going on right now.
And Valhalla's trying to kill him and they're
meanwhile, right. And like having this really great moment of him just getting absolutely fucking trounced. But like the second he hit the ring, he got thrown right the fuck out. So there was no credibility when it comes to him dominating or any, like there was none of that silly machismo bullshit.
Yeah,
it was just a really fun moment of R-Truth doing a bit that he does best, which is getting the match wrong. and the idea that he figures out that one of them's a Rumble and then comes back in for his own call and then thinks it's a tag match is like, I honestly like. The only thing that would have been better is if he would have set a table up on the outside, ran in and thrown somebody out through the table, and then grabbed a hopped over and grabbed a referee, saying like, I won TLC, I won tables, ladders, and chairs.
Oh my God.
Like, I hope they save that fucking bit for next year. Cause like, just,
it's glorious. Oh, and then the other announcer, Pat
McAfee
going up to the ropes.
So,
and then trying to
fun fact. So supposedly, now this is all rumor and stipulation. This is where my knowledge of what's going on after the fact becomes fun for Jamie. So the spot that happened was with oh my God, what is the name of the gigantic guy?
Oh, the dude who's in the anime.
Omos.
Yeah, I've never seen Omos before.
Omos is a monster. He's like 7'4". He's fucking ridiculously huge. Like he's comically large.
Yeah.
The other guy that was in there, which was Braun Breaker, and for those of you following at home who are lapsed wrestling fans, that is Rick Steiner's, not Scott Steiner, not Big Bad Booty Daddy, but the dog of the Steiner brothers' son.
He looks it.
He played Division I football, and then WWE recruited him before he could get in the NFL.
Yeah, he looks it. Like he looks like a Steiner.
He looks like a fucking Steiner. So, fun fact: supposedly, rumor and scuttlebutt is that was supposed to be Brock's spot, and due to all of the allegations that are getting thrown out, and Brock Lesnar's involvement in said allegations involving Vince McMahon, if you haven't heard any of that, please pause the podcast, Google, and then vomit repeatedly, and then come on back. I'm going to try and restore your faith in the fact that at least some pro wrestling can be fun, especially now that Vince is fucking gone.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyway, so Brock Lesnar out of the Royal Rumble, Braun Breaker in. So initially, that whole moment was supposed to be Brock Lesnar and Omos in the ring, which makes worlds more sense to Pat McAfee backing down, because frankly, I think Pat McAfee has a fair shot at doing a match against Braun Breaker. Almost debatable, but like if you sub out Braun Breaker for Brock Lesnar, totally different thing. So that is my understanding is Braun, and that's also apparently why Braun going out wasn't actually something that they covered on film that we saw. It was like in the background somewhere. You just saw him get thrown out because it was supposed to be some big spot that happened. But now that it wasn't Brock Lesnar, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't hold the same weight.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird.
But understanding context now,
I understand why. Yeah,
right. None of us knew that going into it. There was no like big announcement of like Brock Lesnar out, Braun Breaker in. Like they introduced Braun Breaker in Brock's spot apparently, and that's just how that worked.
So the Rumble ended with Cody and Pepsi Phil.
Yes.
Pepsi Phil injured himself.
Yes, he did.
First match out the gate from coming back to another company. Bust a tricep. God love him.
The other tricep from the other one that he blew out in AEW.
Yeah. Like, God love him. Tearing his body apart, but like, what the fuck, dude?
I will voice a potentially unpopular opinion. I don't think CM Punk should be wrestling anymore. I think he missed his window. I think he spent the decade that he should have been wrestling sitting on his couch being a kind of presumptuous douchebag. Yeah. And
he lost that conditioning.
He's back. He's lost that conditioning, and I'm not surprised that he's getting hurt.
Unless it's a work, it's probably not a work.
It's not a work. He's already announced and done the big crying bit on Raw that he's going to miss WrestleMania. Like they're openly talking about it.
That is so. It's funny because like it was this big thing. It's like, oh, he's going to WrestleMania? Who's he going to be at WrestleMania? It's going to be a big pop, blah blah blah. And then,
and you know what the best part is? That means somebody on the undercard who actually should be getting that spot.
Yes.
Remember way back when Pepsi Phil would come out and he'd bitch and complain about how The Rock would come back and take a top tier spot, or John Cena, one of those part-time wrestlers would come in and take a spot. Yeah. And it turns out Pepsi Phil hurts himself, and now he can't use his part-time wrestling status to take a spot from somebody who actually put the fucking effort in.
Yeah.
So
Cody chipped a tooth, and that motherfucker's going to WrestleMania.
Yep.
The road to Cody Mania.
Dude, you saw when Cody fucking tore the fucking pec muscle and everything else like that, and he was back in like weeks. It was fucking ridiculous. So he wrestled again before he got the surgery.
Yeah,
like
Cody Mania strong. Like it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
I'm excited for it. No matter where it lands, I will always watch WrestleMania. I'm excited. But the men's Rumble was not really that great. There were some fun moments. I would argue that honestly, Dominic Mysterio did a really great job.
Yeah.
Like genuinely playing the heel, being the most hated guy, being the one who got like chased after the most. That dude knows his job and does it well. And kudos to him for it, because I am at the point now where I found a lot of what he does really comical, so he don't bother me at all. So the idea of him getting so much hate, especially by the casuals, I'm like, fucking chef kiss Dom. Like when Izzy's complaining about him, I'm like, great.
He's doing his job.
Yeah. When we have the person who is a really big fan of Rhea Ripley genuinely being pissed off at the idea that Dom gets to pretend to swoon all over this woman. Like, that is so much. I could spread that pettiness over fucking cereal. Like, it's great, ridiculous.
Yeah. He did a pretty decent 619.
He knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
And good on him, because wrestling needs characters like that to keep things moving along, to be a constant lightning rod for shit. And frankly, he's got a brother who's going to come up that's going to be a whole thing too. Like, it's going to be really good. I'm super fucking excited.
There were the Usos.
Yes.
There were no yeet. There was no yeeting.
Yeah, there was no yeeting. Honestly, there really wasn't a ton of storyline going on. Now, I think that's a real sign of they're going to heat them back up to have the two of them take on each other at WrestleMania. Good on them. That's apparently, they both have openly talked about that was a dream that they had when they were in like their teens of taking each other on at WrestleMania.
That would be dope.
So the idea that we're now, 20 years on from when they were dreaming about this in their backyard or whatever it is fucking rad. Like, storyline aside, that's just a genuinely good moment to see two people who work so fucking hard for it get that payoff moment of being able to look across the ring and know that your best friend, your most trusted confidant, is the one who rode this fucking rocket to the sky, and now you get to have a match with him in the biggest stage in wrestling. Yeah, that's fucking cool.
They've come a long way from their very weak haka on the stage to just now tearing it up.
But you know what? Still, even during the Haka days, one of the most consistent tag teams in WWE, and it's impressive because WWE really doesn't like tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
So the idea that they kept them together that long up until now, fucking come on.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. My man Shinsuke.
Yep.
The crowd still sings his entrance.
He had a big match with Cody recently. Yeah. He's had a lot of payoff stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, to Nakamura's credit, they are showing, more importantly, potentially Kazuchika Okada could be coming to WWE. He's a free agent now.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So potentially Okada could come to WWE. And the rumor and scuttlebutt is that they are showing Okada that WWE knows how to book Japanese wrestlers and that you don't necessarily have to cut a scathing English promo to get over.
Yeah.
So, and using, Kairi Sane and Asuka again is another example of.
I love them.
Right. So there is still a potential for a WrestleMania with the Rainmaker.
Yeah.
Which could be fucking cool.
God, that would be amazing.
Right. The argument also that I've heard is, for as much as he would naturally fit in with AEW because of all of his connections, we've seen him versus Kenny Omega.
Yeah, we
haven't seen him take on Brock Lesnar or Seth or Drew or the cavalcade of opponents that are not his necessary cup of tea. That'd be fucking wild.
That would be so, that's why I love Shinsuke, because his style is completely different from everyone
out it's there. A very different thing to watch.
Yeah.
And he's enthralling without necessarily having to gab and chit chat and everything. Like, and don't get me wrong, some people can pull that off, but like, I love the dichotomy between someone, let's say like a Samoa Joe, who is equally deadly on the mic as he is in the ring, and Nakamura, who, when he took on Joe, literally booped his nose, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Boop. Oh man. All right. So Men's Rumble.
It
was there.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the Men's Rumble?
Like a 7. Like
That's
wasn't
where I am. I think a 7 is almost
bad, but
generous.
It wasn't great. It didn't make me boo,
I think the problem that I really had is at no point along the way did I think that Cody wasn't going to win.
True.
And now, full disclosure, I had it spoiled for me. I was actually at a different pro wrestling show involved with Super Hard Fight that night. I had it spoiled for me, but watching it, I didn't know when Cody was coming out. I didn't look at any of the other spoilers. And as I'm watching the thing, I'm going, where's the believable moment? And especially knowing that Punk got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that last part dragged.
God damn, did that drag on.
If it went faster, I would have got an 8, but it gets a 7.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Okay.
Another match that occurred was Logan Paul and KO, Kevin Owens.
I didn't watch any of that. I think
we fast forwarded that.
Yeah, we fast forwarded through that. We also skipped the Fatal 4-Way because I knew exactly where that was going.
Yeah.
Roman wasn't going to lose the belt. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. LA Knight, I'm unfamiliar with.
LA Knight is a dude from Hagerstown. He was a guy who was on NWA for a while. He's very entertaining. I've really enjoyed him. He's been a perfectly serviceable wrestler. He's not an exceptional in-ring guy, but he is very much a WWE guy. He's also the one when Bray Wyatt had his Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. He was the one who went through that with him.
Oh, wow.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So kudos to him for spending the time to try as hard as he could to put over the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
AJ Flat Earther Styles.
Fuck AJ Styles. I don't care about AJ Styles. Anyway,
the rattlesnake. What's his nuts?
You mean the Viper? Because rattlesnake is Stone Cold. The
That's
Viper.
right. The
Viper's Randy Orton.
I'm getting my snakes wrong.
Yeah,
the Viper,
whatever.
Randy out of nowhere.
Let's fucking 86 that, and let's get to the important thing: the women's Rumble.
Holy shit!
Was fucking outstanding.
Bell to bell. Fucking come on.
It was fast paced. It was chock full of surprises. We brought back Naomi.
I was about to say Naomi,
formerly Trinity Fatu of Impact Wrestling, literally like the night before. Now this is a TV taping, so bear this in mind. Trinity loses the belt to Jordynne Grace. More about Jordynne Grace in a minute.
Yeah.
And then shows up on fucking the Rumble to an absolutely raucous crowd with a great entrance. And just looked true to form and was outstanding in the ring and fucking ran her ass off. Like, Jesus Christ, she was in there
like an hour or something like that.
An hour and 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Like,
she got her shit in. She looked amazing.
Now, I'm looking at the stats here. One of the more impressive things is for as long as she was in, she only eliminated 2 people.
Oh.
She managed to stay relevant and interesting for over an hour in a Rumble match and only knocked out 2 people.
Yeah.
Like, that's an impressive skill to be able to dip in and out of people's attention in a big battle royale like that, where it's like, she's credible and threatening the entire time, regardless of how many people she got out. Like, that's a absolutely impressive thing to do.
It was great watching her getting it back into the ring. Bayley was a delight with her little ferret, just kind of like trying to run here, run there, not trying to get too much attention, honestly, not getting to a big fight.
Bayley did a better version of what Dominic Mysterio did.
Yes, exactly.
And honestly, that's the best compliment I can have is Dominic did their best Bayley impersonation and good on him. Cause like, Bayley's a fucking 10 when it comes to character work. And she is going to, if I had to take a guess, going to get turned on very quickly by Damage Control and is going to end up going full fucking face. And by the time we get to the Rumble, she'll have the side pony and the fucking Bayley buddies are going to be back. And we're going to be back to,
man, that'll be great.
It'll be full on. I'm a hugger and she'll change her fucking entrance music. It'll be fucking great.
You mentioned the TNA champ.
Yes.
She came, I don't remember her name, but
Jordynne Grace.
Jordynne Grace was there to play. Like, she came on and Izzy and Gloria were like, ooh, muscle mommy.
Well, yeah, because Jordynne Grace is terribly impressive when it comes to the just physical stature of her. Because, like, she comes out, she's yoked as shit. She knows exactly what she's doing. She gets her fucking moves in.
Yeah.
She's snappy as shit.
Bang, bang.
And like, it added such a level of credibility. Now, mind you, this is the second time that WWE has done this with TNA. Because when Mickie James was champ, she brought the TNA Knockouts championship with her and did the same thing. Jordynne Grace, I gotta be honest with you, if they don't sign Jordynne Grace when she becomes a free agent with TNA, somebody's doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, she needs to be on that roster. She can handle it. There was that one spot where her and another wrestler had 2 women up.
Yes, you're thinking of Jade Cargill.
Yeah, and they were just they looked at each other and they're like, all right, let's do this. And then they slammed.
Yes.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah. And again, also the debut of Jade Cargill in the ring.
Yeah.
She is, again, another fucking, as I was so lovingly reminded of the term muscle mommy. Was fucking terribly impressive first one out. And I can't wait to see her more. And I was physically impressed with her when she was in AEW, but thought that her in-ring work could use a bit more seasoning, but that's the kind of thing that comes with time.
Yeah.
And clearly she's been putting a lot of work in the performance center. She seemed a fair bit tighter and a fair bit more confident with the moves, and not necessarily. I had found her previous matches to be a little slower paced because I think she was trying to work safe and clean.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like she's got the same moveset, just the fucking tempo is picking up, which is great. Because that means potentially in a year, we could absolutely see a barn burner with her and Charlotte.
Yeah. Because they're about the same stature.
Same, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's going to be amazing to see, because it's going to be one of the first times that Charlotte's going to be able to go at full speed with somebody who is their size.
Yeah. Who's the skinny one with the bright suit that did all the comedy spots where she got smushed in between two people?
That would be Chelsea Green.
She was fantastic.
Chelsea Green is great. Chelsea Green is another former Impact star. She used to be known as the Hot Mess Express. She used to come out in a tattered wedding dress with her makeup all fucked up and everything else like that, and just basically used to wreck people. And that, she's one part wrecking crew and one part comedy wrestler. And she's super great. Funny enough, she is the wife of Matt Cardona, better known as Zack Ryder.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they met in WWE and totally hit it off. And he's been doing the best work of his life out on the indies. Yeah. And she is absolutely killing it. And her work with Piper, the bit where she goes out and Piper catches her.
Yeah.
Piper Niven, by the way, the Scottish just superstar. I absolutely adore Piper Niven.
Yeah, she was great.
Catches her and then does the faux I almost dropped you. See, I got you. And then being in there and being the foil for most of those comedy spots of absolutely accidentally wrecking her partner.
Yeah.
And then
it was
one
delightful.
part apologizing and then the other part being Jesus Christ, would you stop getting in the fucking way? Yeah. It's a great fucking thing that they have going on together. They are very fun in all their backstage segments.
Yeah, she's great.
I don't know if they'll ever be a dominating tag team or anything else like that, but I think comedy and wrestling is important to have because not everything can be fucking smash and grab. But those kind of people can be champions and they can be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to see. And if they split that tag team up, I hope it's not with the normal, I get mad and one of us gets real angry and I hope it's just one of them gets taunted away by someone else or whatever it is. It just kind of fades out and they go to singles routes. Yeah. I don't want to see the traditional barbershop window kind of silliness because it doesn't seem to fit either one of their characters.
Yeah.
I mean, if they let Piper be what Piper was on the indies, yes.
Yeah.
Because Piper used to be a fucking world beater on the indies. But good on her for also figuring out a bit of comedy spot and finding what I think is a very unique and hopefully comfortable home in that roster, because there is no one else who physically looks like her, who can move like her, and who can fill the same spot that she has right now.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. Asuka.
Swoon and
come on.
Jesus Christ. And
every time
I'll watch Asuka fucking. Yeah. I actually have watched Asuka just make dinner. It's just, she's that entertaining.
Yeah.
It's on Instagram, I've just watched Asuka make dinner. She's just,
if it's a 2-second intro where she's walking down the aisle with her fucking mask on, come the fuck on.
She just exudes confidence and style and charisma and just,
you're in for a good show when she's in the ring. It's going to be amazing.
Right, because with a look, she gives you the idea that I'm about to impress you, and I know exactly what I'm doing, and you don't need to cheer me. You'll cheer me eventually.
Yeah.
There's just no hesitation with Asuka, and I love that. And I also really love that Asuka is imparting that same kind of confidence on Kairi Sane, who used to, I think, lean more on the gimmick that they had previously, and now is more just bitch, you know you want to see me. Fucking stop.
Yeah, she was great too.
Yes.
Becca.
Again, getting near the end, Becky is one of those that doesn't need the Rumble win to move on to Mania, but also very credible threat. And the end scene of that when Bayley is celebrating, spoiler alert, when Bayley is celebrating and all of the potential winners or top tier stars that are really either currently in contention for belts, or WWE is very much broadcasting that these are the next people who are going to be going for it, are just literally stacked up like fucking cordwood along the side, just watching it happen, just drinking it in, just going, well, I guess, right, like today, I'm not as good as that person, and that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And like, it adds a level of credibility for going into Elimination Chamber in Australia. Like, it adds a giant target on Bayley's back.
The road to Bayleymania.
Right. It really, and that's the thing is, not only could Damage Control attack Bayley, but any one of them can go after Bayley to build Bayley's face turn.
Yeah.
Of being like, I'm tired of making enemies of everybody.
Yeah.
And like, you're going to see Bayley come out and save someone who you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And it might be Becky. It's going to be somebody, I think, who you would expect them to save a few years ago. But more recently, you'd be like, there's no fucking way Bayley's coming out and saving them. And you're going to see them have this moment of heart.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling it's going to be something to do with Damage Control. It'll be EO taking on someone, and then the rest of Damage Control coming out and hurting this person, and Bayley saving this person, and then EO turning on Bayley.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be great.
Because right now EO seems reluctant about it, but like, that has to be the payoff, is it has to be EO and Bayley in the fucking title match. Like, that has to be it.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And like, I'm excited. Like, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know, like, I know the next pay-per-view that we get excited about is Mania.
No,
but I'm kind of interested in seeing like the next couple ones to see what happens on that.
The next one, which is going to be the stopgap in between, is Elimination Chamber. That's the one that's happening in Australia.
Yeah.
So it's going to be earlier in the day on a Saturday. I'm curious about it because it's going to set up probably whatever the other match is. What I fully expect to happen is it's probably going to be Bayley who wins Elimination Chamber to take on Rhea. And Rhea's going to be the number one person who they pay attention to because they're in Australia.
Yeah.
So Rhea's going over. So there's a good chance that Bayley's going to win and then get booed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
I'm fucking stoked for it. It's going to be super good. Like, I forget how much I love wrestling the second Rumble happens.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
it's so good. There's so much potential.
So good.
Cuz you're telling like little mini stories throughout the night, and it's not like this 1 hour long, hour and a half long, spot after spot after spot. It's like little stories, and you can get into one, or you can just leave them that suck, and it's great. It's like, it's all of wrestling compressed into like 2 big ass matches. 60 people fought. 60 people.
60 people.
60 people. That's
and honestly, they had a lot of people sit out.
Yeah.
The Rumble is a great reminder of how many people are actually on the roster.
Yeah.
Because you don't think of their roster as being all that huge, especially compared to an AEW. AEW could literally have a 60-man battle royale and still have probably another 50 people sit on the sideline. It's that fucking big. Like, it's
have they done a similar thing?
No. And I don't think they will. I think Rumble is so synonymous with WWE that if AEW did anything similar, everybody would cry that Tony is just copying Vince. Yeah. And no one needs that comparison right now.
That's
no
true.
one. Yeah. Like, just the smartest thing they can do is anything other than what WWE is known for.
Yeah.
Like, just.
But yeah, it was so fun. It was so fun.
Yes.
And having people there who don't know shit about wrestling is even more fun.
Watch wrestling. If you are a wrestling fan, watch Wrestling with Noobs. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, Brandon, where can people find you besides watching Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, right. You can find me with Jamie and probably a few other people watching Elimination Chamber on on Peacock. Use code fucking do it at NBCUniversal.com. You're not going to get anything and they're going to be really confused, but use it anyway. Anyway, you can find me on Instagram at that guy Chalmers. Jamie Noguchi, where can they find you?
A bunch of places. Go to Draw Jam on YouTube because I'm trying to get my art channel monetized. So
nice.
I need people to watch for many hours. So
yeah. So here's what I need you to do. Fucking do it, fam. Here's what I need you to do. Okay. I need you to open up your computer, open up your YouTube app or whatever it is on your TV. All right. Turn the volume down. Put Draw Jam on. Like, just select the videos and just hit play all and just let them go. And then the next night, pick a different one, couple down, and try that again. And just let Jamie's views just fucking go skyward. Just fucking take them up. It don't hurt you.
Yeah.
That's 8 hours that you're just giving away. Yeah. Like, help a brother out.
I'm trying. But yeah, and then other stuff, wherever finer podcasts are sold, you can find me there. There you go. All right.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Be excellent to each other, kids.